going to take us back to 1984. I'm talking about the July 1984 issue of Guitar Player magazine. Can you tell who's missing?
Yngwie. Back then, I would have seen a tele and just went like, next. Winger was playing all the big venues, and then Beavis and Butthead came out, and a week later, no one was coming to any Winger shows.
They're playing at Sluggo's.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, it's Derek over at Masters of Shred, and welcome to a very special episode of Pages in Time. Now, before we go any further, if you don't already, please do us a favor. Show your support. It won't cost you a thing. Shred that subscribe button, shred the notification bell, drop a comment, thumbs up, share this video, grow with us. Now, with that being said, we are here right now live at this moment, not when you're watching it, in Nashville, Tennessee at the CMA Theater with a very special friend of the platform. He is one of the most versatile shred extraordinaires in the game today. You know him very well, and if you haven't heard his music, you've probably seen him in his movies and TV shows.
Oh, yes. So many things.
All right, that's right. You guys know what I'm talking about here, the mighty Dweezil Zappa.
Hello.
That's your second introduction now. Your second pro intro.
Oh, very good.
How's it feel?
So professional.
Thank you. That's what we strive for here. That's right, folks. Now, let's hop into the year in review, what we're going to cover today, okay?
Okay.
You are going to take us back to 1984. To be exact, July of 1984. So let me paint the landscape for you guys to understand what was going on. Nightmare on Elm Street roared into the theaters, and Freddy Krueger literally has been giving us nightmares for decades. Wendy's had us asking what?
Was that the Where's the Beef campaign?
You got it. Where's the beef?
Okay.
And Miami Vice was setting the trends both in style and music for the entire decade, which you may have some tie to, I believe.
A little bit.
A little bit of weasel dust, they call it, right?
Yeah, well, in the actual series, I guess that was the name that they used, but so poorly written, I thought, that scene.
We're going to have to get into that. And of course, let's not forget about James Cameron, who forewarned us about the dangers of AI with Terminator and Skynet, which today we still have not taken full note of. So that will wrap it up. But outside of that, we had another great addition to the year. I'm talking about the July 1984 issue of Guitar Player magazine. And Dweezil, you told us in the last video we did, you always prefer Guitar Player magazine.
It was really the only magazine. I thought the other ones were just okay. The Guitar Player magazine was the serious one.
And that's the one that's no longer with us as of last year.
They kind of all aren't with us because nobody buys magazines really anymore. They're just online and whatnot.
A lot of YouTubers.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to hop right in. So you know the way this works. You see an article, you see a picture, gear, something comes to mind, throw in your 2 cents, something, share it, okay? So this is Pages in Time. Here we go, guys. Let's hop in. Okay, here we go. Whew. All right, right off the bat, we got some Ibanez love here. A little bit of Carvin ads. Ibanez was still rocking those big-ass Roadstar headstocks at that point.
Yeah. But if you look at this Carvin ad, it's missing persons. Now, all of these people used to be in my dad's band. So Terry Bozzio, Warren Cucurullo, who then went on to, he was in Missing Persons, then went on to Duran Duran, and there's Dale Bozzio, who was married to Terry. The only one missing in here is Patrick O'Hearn, who was the bass player in the band, who was also in my dad's band. So all of these people were previously on some of my dad's records.
Wow, wow. So this issue will hit home. I'm so happy I picked this issue. This is great. I'm excited about this. And of course, Carvin. Steve, I was using Carvin with your dad, right?
Yeah.
So there we go. All right. Some more tie-ins. Here we go. We get a little bit from the publisher here. Got our table of contents. I always love that picture of Eddie. Yeah. Eddie Wants You. And we're going to get to that because it's kind of weird. I don't think Eddie was even a part of this article to a large degree, but we'll figure that out. This is always good. Letters to the editors. You literally have a letter from Ned Steinberger. Someone stole their prototype plastic bass they made. And he's asking, please, if you find it, can you please return it? This is the kind of letters you got because there was no internet. Yeah. You couldn't. This is where you had to go submit this, right? And hopefully you'll get in the next issue. And all these are about stolen gear. Literally, crazy. Melissa Manchester, the New Year's Eve job, all the gear stolen, all that kind of stuff. But Zion came through and thanked them for posting their guitars. I don't know if you heard about Zion guitars. They were Shredder's guitar.
I kind of remember them a little bit. Did they have that weird like hole in the headstock thing? Or is that a different one?
Are you thinking about Floyd Rose? When they did that like maybe 15, 20 years ago?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think Richie Sambora got behind that and played it like one time. It's called the Floyd Rose Discovery model. Damn. I know a lot about these crazy, obscure guitars. That came back to me. Didn't really hold good value, though. But that's what we're going into here. We got more of the, I've seen some Alvarez stuff. Some guys talking about their stuff back in the day.
Yeah, well, you still have D'Addario strings. They're still very popular.
That is true. Very, very popular. We're going to pick up a little bit of pace here, too. So this is really good. In the action, talking about current events in Shred, what's the first thing we see? Yngwie Malmsteen. The 20-year-old lead guitarist for 𝙋𝘖𝙄𝙄 is in the studio for his debut album. So this was right at that cusp when he was just going to take off like never before. And this is before Steve Vai clearly took his place in 𝙋𝘖𝙄𝙄. So seeing that kind of paints the mood for what we're dealing with here at that time. And of course, talking about Van Halen going on the road and upcoming tour dates and all that kind of good stuff too. So very interesting to see that though. I liked when I saw that. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then some more stuff there. Dean Markley. Let's see. I love the Ovations. You must have had an Ovation at some point, right?
I never did. My dad had one or two of them. There was one kind of like this. I never understood what this whole thing was all about, but they were popular. They seemed to be the touring musician's acoustic guitar at that time.
Who comes to mind when you think of Ovation?
Glen Campbell.
Wow. Nice. Okay. I was going to say Richie Sambora or Heart.
Yeah.
That's the first, because this whole design reminds me of Heart. Just Heart 70s.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Very cool. This is the art of stringing and tuning, and I thought this was going to be the most boringest article I've ever seen. And then I started really getting into it, like, wow, this is about a 5-page write-up on how to tune your guitar.
Yeah.
Though they really got into it back then.
Yeah, this was a real deal thing. I probably never paid attention to that kind of stuff because I just didn't really understand the mechanics of what was necessary. Even now, like, you know, there's the things that people do where they do that twist under and all that, like that I never bothered to because it's annoying on the string change. So I don't do any of that stuff. I've never noticed tuning issues from not doing it, but I just I can't stand when you can't get the thing out of the string tuners at the end of that headstock. If I have to get clippers to get the string out because it's still got that little hook, that drives me nuts.
Pain in the ass. Yeah. I could understand that. I saw this stuff too, which is 𝙋𝘖𝙄𝙄 Juniors.
Well, DeltaLab was a company that was also making amplifiers. They made a crazy amplifier at some point that they were trying to get my dad to use, and it was like multiple amps in one amp and kind of a crazy thing. But yeah, it looks like they didn't stand the test of time here, but it seems like some
they put the effort in, though.
Yeah, Bucket Brigade stuff here, which was probably cool.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Got the No Bozos Kramer, which is would this be called the Holy Grail? That one?
I don't know, but the thing about it is he's wearing the same thing he's got on the cover in this ad.
That's very true. Wait, is he?
It's pretty close.
That is. He changed his shirt. Like, we got to make this different, this ad. So I guess it was all shot at the same time, even from the same photographer?
Maybe so.
Wow. You know, Kramer, I believe, the Holy Grail they just put out, which is made in Japan at the Fujigen factory. It's really good because you probably haven't heard about it because, well, no one has. There's actually no marketing on the guitar, it seems, at all. But I will tell you, that's the closest thing they got going right now to the quality 80s Kramers of back in the day. The feel is stellar.
All right.
So it was a direct scan of Eddie's, not Eddie's, but literally one from that time. Great. This is, I love this, 𝙋𝘖𝙄𝙄 ad. Can you tell who's missing?
Yngwie.
Now look at that, not shown, Yngwie Malmsteen. So this is a Randall amp ad. You show everybody who doesn't play guitar. I mean, the bass player clearly, but I mean, come on. Graham Bonnet was not ripping on there, I don't think, at all, but you got to have someone doing it. Yngwie wasn't there.
Yeah.
And where was he? Making his first album.
Didn't he use Marshall anyway?
I know. Well, remember, during this time, he was rocking Aria Pro.
Oh, yeah.
They had an Aria Pro signature model, right? So that was interesting. They're still here, RotoSound strings, right?
Yeah, but you know what you don't find is these string boxes. Even if you were to Google it, these things don't come up. These are convenient ways to keep your strings organized. And I remember my dad had these things, And I looked on Amazon and some other places not too long ago, and there wasn't anything like this. So they should have these little boxes again.
Just to hold your strings. Is there anything you would change about the box to make it more modern?
I wouldn't put a bunch of logos on it. I'd just make it a nice little box that you could have in your studio. So it's like, oh yeah, there's my strings. It's just, you have the string gauges and you can easily access them.
Okay.
I think it's cool.
Note to self, this is my new line of products I'm going to be putting out. Called here first.
Yeah.
Okay.
String box.
That's why I was asking what you would change about them. Let's see what else we got here. Here on the crazy ads, this is all about learning back then. It was all about getting better at your craft, whether it was recording or playing guitar or buying great Fender swag. Love that Strat shirt.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of anything with giant logos on it. I'm just not a logo wearing person. There is a good story about that though. My dad, we used to play this game where you'd come up with a word that should be in the dictionary but isn't, and so it could be anything that inspires this word. But I said to him, okay, we need to come up with a name for the type of person that always wears some type of logo t-shirt, a rock and roll t-shirt or some other logo. And without skipping a beat, within a nanosecond, he said Insignaramous, which was a combination of insignia and ignoramus.
I like that.
Yeah. So
Insignaramous.
Yeah, Insignaramous. So there you go.
I like that. Sounds like an album title. I dig it. Hip shot coming in hard.
Yeah.
I love that. This is pretty cool. Insight by the Power of 10. That was a learning book at the Musicians Institute, but look who's at the table.
Yep.
Eddie's sitting there.
Yep.
I don't even remember that book or hearing about that. I'm like, what?
I do remember hearing about it. Somebody brought it up not too long ago because it might have been one of the only times that there was something in a book that related to Push Comes to Shove, because there really wasn't a lot of talk about that particular song. And this might be the book that the person that was telling me about it might be from that. So I don't know for sure, but that's my guess.
Wow. We were talking about Aria, right? Aria Pro. This is such a great ad. I mean, they really went all out with this. Introducing the Diamond by Aria, Heaven Sent from Japan. But it's like, just got the nuns there, mass appeal, heavenly sounds, that's divine. I mean, it's
divine prices.
Divine prices.
Yeah.
It's the instrument that answers everyone's prayers.
Yeah, it sure does.
The sound quality got it is here to believe, at a price that's simply divine, starting at $229. You gotta love it.
That's crazy because there's still guitars you can buy for $229.
Let's see what else got. Mesa Boogie. Their ads kind of look the same. I mean, it's kind of like what it was today. You'd see back then. They've aged well.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, my dad had an amp like this one, actually just like that. He used to use on stage.
Really?
Yep.
You got any Mesa Boogies in your arsenal? Sure.
I used to use Mesa Boogie, and after I was using Carvin, I switched to the Mesa Boogies. They had like the little half stack, and it was the cabinet that had 2 speakers in it, you know, and those sounded great. I used those. I had one, and then I got another one, so I had a stereo rig with those. That's what I used when I played on the Don Johnson record.
No kidding.
Yes.
Wow. Man, that's classic.
Yes.
You got a lot of tie-ins with my advice, don't you?
Yes, there's a couple.
That's pretty cool. That was an iconic show, you got to admit.
Yeah.
That was the decade. He showed people how to dress in the 80s. That car was awesome. I just never understand why he always parked a Testarossa at the police station.
Well, you know, I guess that's the safest place to park that car.
There you go. That's a good way to look at it. We got some lesson 2-hand tapping by Stanley Jordan. It gets really technical, this article. And I'm kind of skim it because we're short on time. I want to make sure we get to this good article. But again, more talking guitar solos. This is always cool. BC Rich Ironbird. We're talking about prices. $10.99. My guess, that was American.
Yes.
Back then. Because today, $10.99 gets you an imported BC Rich.
Yeah, I was never really a big BC Rich guy. I did appreciate some players playing it, like Neil Giraldo, and I guess what's the other guy from Starship played it sometimes, you know?
Yeah,
Craig
I remember those ads.
or whatever his name is. But yeah, I was the shapes were just not traditional enough for me to enjoy.
Yeah. How do
you pay tribute to one of the greatest guitarists from one of the greatest rock bands of all time?
Tone Arts USA proudly brings to you the ultimate addition to your shred den, the limited edition Super Halen 1x12 stack.
Draped in the pages of a vintage 1990 Van Halen comic book, the Super Halen is a showpiece that can rock like no other.
No two Super Halen amps are the same.
Each cabinet is scientifically crafted with the highest grade materials to give you that monstrous tone that will light up the sky. It's fully loaded with a 12-inch USA-made Green Beret speaker, a total upgrade from the Celestion G12M greenbacks that we've become so accustomed to.
Each cabinet is closed back just like Eddie's, but Tone Arts USA does offer an optional open back if your heart desires.
Visit www.mastersofshred.com now to reserve yours today before you can't get this stuff no more.
Yeah. Here we go. We got some headstock comedy arts by Kaman, who owned a lot of different companies at that time. We'll go Shenandoah, gets to that. Oh, here we go. A little bit of Earl Slick in there. He got his own guitar line a couple years ago by Guitar Fetish. DiMarzio Ad. It's a great name for an amp company.
Yeah, amp.
Amp. God, it'd be a nightmare in Googling that. Can you find me that amp? You know, that one? It's never going to find it. It's the same with performance guitars. You try to Google performance guitar, you're going to get every guitar ever made. Period.
Yeah.
Not the one you're looking for out of Hollywood. Yeah, it's one of those. Oh, this is a great one, too. This is a great ad for Schecter. This guitarist literally said when they heard that Schecter was making strings, I thought, it's about time. I mean, guitar parts, great guitars, great strings, right? Makes sense, right? Like, I've been waiting for ESP to make strings. I mean, I love their guitars. Why aren't you guys making strings? The point I'm making is that it makes no sense to me. Who looks forward to that?
I don't know, but he clearly sent them a letter and signed it, and they were so thrilled with it that they copied and pasted it into the ad, and it's the guy from Sparks, so it's very important.
Yeah. He may have lost sleep over that the fact that Schecter didn't make strings. So,
yeah.
Well, I don't think Schecter makes strings today, though.
No, I think D'Addario makes strings for everybody. Don't they even make Ernie Ball strings? I don't.
Oh wow.
I think it's like there's a handful of companies that make strings and then they just kind of repackage
private
them.
label them.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. I gotta check that out. Professional Demand. Okay, I'm just gonna speed up a little bit. Always like those. Those were the Crazy Washburn Tour Series guitars. I always thought those were cool.
I don't think I ever saw them or paid attention to them.
Really?
But back then, I would have seen a Tele and just went like, next.
Now, did you feel that way about McMar's Telly when you saw that Kramer Telly he had with the Floyd Rose?
I just wasn't really all that into Teles. Yeah, I have a Tele, but
Not at the time. Okay.
Yeah.
Replacement strings. Look at they took all the real estate here. Like every inch was covered, and they got good money for it. You know?
Yeah.
It's wild to think that stuff. And I'm going to get us to that Van Halen article in here. This is great, too. Would you trust this place to do your stage lighting? You know what's sad? I think that's probably a real place.
Sluggos?
So they had to deal with that? Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
potentially, yes.
They're making a mockery of your company, you know?
That's like what happened when Winger was playing all the big venues, and then Beavis and Butthead came out, and a week later, no one was coming to any Winger shows.
They're playing at Sluggos after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably more than likely. You got this one too. The round back guitar owners, you get the hugger. That way it won't slip anymore. Well, that's an ingenious idea.
I don't think that was something that really caught the world by storm, but you know.
No.
Well, here's my dad.
There's your dad. I had that issue too. I was thinking about bringing that in. We got that issue. So we're gonna have to go into that one for sure. Do you remember seeing that around the house?
Yeah, he had a few little mini guitars. Those were actually from a company called Da Mini, and he had probably 3 or 4 Strat ones and at least 2 or 3 Les Paul style ones. And he put different electronics. He had one little Strat like this that had 3 pickups that he put parametric EQs in and a Floyd Rose on.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. That sounds great.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool guitar.
Take that. So he's got the Floyds on there too. That's really cool. And you ever seen this issue around the house?
A long time ago.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Eddie wants you to play better guitar now. That's a great picture of Eddie.
It is cool.
Probably the same photo. That is the same photo. Yeah, well, that's the front. Now, this is where it gets a little crazy. It's a little wacky because I can't figure out who's actually writing this. It says it's as told by Jim Ferguson, but it's in Eddie Van Halen's first perspective, first person. So I don't know how accurate any of this dialogue is. What's really cool, though, I like, is if you want to go down and learn Eruption, Take It On, they got a direct transcription by Steve Vai, note for note. And as we know...
Yes, but Steve, I seem to recall when he did that one, he didn't actually have a guitar. He just was transcribing it by ear, and he wrote it down. So the placement of where you would play any of the notes didn't really fit in the tab or anything. That was what I recall from the first transcription of that.
Was this the very first that you know?
Not exactly sure, but I never really learned Eruption from any of the music stuff. I just played the thing back and forwards, on my little tape machine or the record player, and tried to just learn it by ear. That was the main thing.
Well, that's what Eddie was talking about in here, actually. Again, this was Eddie's actual words. He said is usually taking looks off of records and listening and developing his rock and roll is the best way to learn how to play. And he said that Ted Nugent played his rig on tour and was hoping to sound like Eddie, and it sounded like Ted Nugent. So the one thing is, don't put too much emphasis on equipment.
Yeah, he always said your sound is in your fingers. So.
Right, in your brain, I think he put it in this one, right?
Yeah.
There's fingers and brain. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially with players of his generation, there's more to it when it's just the personality of the player. Like, look at Angus. He doesn't really have any effects in his rig, so it's only the sound of his fingers.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
But then you got a guy like The Edge, who most of his songs are all about effects. So it is possible to have a sound that's based on just creating things with toys and
Tom
sounds.
Morello.
Yeah. There's a few things. I mean, I think the fingers probably matter a little bit less when you're dealing with only effects.
Right. That's a good point. So as we're talking about fingers and Eddie's fingers, you got to help me out. Are those his fingers? Is that Eddie?
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, but look that's a different guitar.
Yeah, what kind of guitar is that now?
It's the Frankenstrat, but it had a white pickguard on it for a minute.
Wow, okay. So I wasn't familiar with that particular guitar. That's why I was like, was that? Okay, there it is.
Yep.
And he was talking about how most beginners want to learn lead because they think it's cool, and consequently, they never develop good rhythm skills.
True enough.
And we all say he's one of the best, if not the best rhythm players ever. I mean, it is not easy to play a Van Halen rhythm. It's harder than doing the solos, I think. It's pretty intense.
Yeah. And then, of course, if you try to make it sound anything like him with the feel, that's even harder.
I feel like that's just a territory. It's just scary to touch on YouTube video perspective of people doing covers. When you're doing like a cover on YouTube, because everyone's like, well, you should have this. This is available in the market. Why aren't you using this effect? The bar is so high on doing those YouTube covers that I would never attempt because it's frightening.
Yeah.
Now, you on the other hand are doing something really special on the road right now. This track you're playing, and we just heard it, which you guys have probably seen this video. It sounds phenomenal. And you weren't running any effects or really anything. You were right into your positive grid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it sounded fantastic, dude.
Well, the thing about Push Comes to Shove, which is the song we're talking about, it's that has always been my favorite Van Halen song ever since I heard it when I was 12, and it was too complicated for me to learn back then. So years later, I was like, well, I should probably learn this song. And I wanted to do it here today in Nashville because it's actually Edward's birthday.
That's right.
I thought, that'd be kind of cool, just if I can do a decent version of it.
Yeah, which you did. You nailed it. One take. One take. We asked you to do it. You nailed it.
Yeah, the thing is, when I get up there on stage later tonight, you just never know what could happen.
Right. So y'all better come to the show tonight, but this will not be live. So,
Yeah.
so already after the show. That was a good plug, though, but true. You never know. But I'm pretty confident you could do pretty well on that.
Do my best.
Yes.
Don't know if we'll get it. Ready?
Got some guitar player swag. That's a great duffel bag. I'd like to get one of those. You probably found those at Reverb. Probably $50. Someone listed it.
Yeah.
Very
Somebody would use it as a cat carrying bag.
cool. You could. That cat would probably not live very long, though. I don't think there's any air pockets at all to breathe in there. So if you zip it up, that cat's goner.
Yeah.
So let's see. We got here. It's got some Shane guitars, designed right and left-handed. Never heard of those. Very basic looking.
Yep.
Then we go into this lesson is very in depth. He's telling you how to bend, everything like that. Fostex, talking about how they did Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band was also recorded with one of these recorders, I think by one of the producers. But they're still around. Fostex still around.
Yeah.
So we got that. There's a lot about this. This is a very in-depth lesson from Eddie. This is pretty cool. The Seymour Duncan convertible amp.
I remember those. They were a little bit tricky. That you could take the different modules and have different sounds and plug it in, and you'd get a different, like a Fender sound or a Marshall sound. But the connections would be dirty sometimes, and then it would just lose sound. And so
Yeah, I figured. But it's a good attempt because you got to remember, what does that sound like today? All amps in one. Sounds like modelers. It's the early day modeler in a way, right?
Yep.
But it was a real tube amp. So, yeah, you can get these for good deals, but the trickier part is finding the modules.
Yeah.
That's where it gets tricky. And they never really did anything other than clean, dirty, and something else.
Yeah.
But I see that it's good in theory for that time.
Yeah.
And now you get the Eruption by Steve Vai, his transcription of it. And did not test how accurate that was. But
The Chapman stick.
yes, which I think he still uses something that looks like that today.
Yeah.
I saw that.
I never tried one. That wouldn't have made much sense to me.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, it was just, I can't even elaborate on that. I looked it up and I'm like, what the hell is this thing?
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I used to use this. I had that. That was the effect unit I had on my first record on Having a Bad Day. There's only 4 effects in the thing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what you're using.
And so when I did that Electric Hoedown song, that's kind of like a little bit similar to Cathedrals. It has delay, it has chorus, and some other stuff in it, but I pretty much only used the delay.
Wow. You still have that?
No.
No. Get rid of that.
I don't really hold on to much.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. So you're not a hoarder.
No, but
That's a
I
shame.
definitely also don't. I mean, once you have an experience, the memory lives there. Like, I don't need to see it again in a picture or whatever. I just don't keep any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. You actually let a lot of your guitars go, like a good batch of those really early ones.
Yeah.
You had the green one and a bunch. And didn't you get rid of the Madonna one too?
Yeah.
I was like, this is the craziest auction ever. Alongside the Jeff Beck one that just happened. Did you watch that?
I saw some of it. I was surprised by some of it, actually. Like,
Too high or too low?
too low, I thought, for some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that some of the prototypes that Gibson put out of like the Oxford Blood, I thought it was going to go for like a couple 100,000. I think it was under 100 for the prototype of the new one they released.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a lot of history there though, even with that guitar. I thought it would
Yeah.
have gone for more than that. There are a lot of Ibanez prototypes too
Yeah.
that were there. I'm like, that's great stories. More Carvin stuff.
Yeah, these were good amps. My dad had some of those.
It kind of looks like the outside, like the Mesa Boogie we saw earlier,
Yeah.
right? That's what they're going for, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those Carvin amps are pretty good. Here we go. Got 𝙃𝘖𝙄𝙬𝙄𝙉 Rocks Hard. Got
Yeah.
your Rick Savage Def Leppard.
Yeah.
coming at you hard. It was the ADA. I love ADA. They were putting out some crazy stuff back
They did
then.
have some cool stuff.
Yeah, those MP1s are pretty damn.
That was the Nuno special.
Yeah, the Nuno, the Skid Row, and the Vito. All those guys were using that shit. And Scotty Hill actually acquired the ADA from Michael Wagner.
Okay.
That was used for all those albums. So he's got it. I'm like, damn. There's history there. A lot of these Yamaha ads coming in here. This is the way Yamaha used to do ads. They go split it. Then they come out next one. Nail you again with another one. Different kind of take on it.
Yeah.
Got some all-part stuff here. Rock Slide. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go quicker here. Two-handed tapping for bass. Billy Sheehan, Private Lesson. And this was before he got to gig with Daily Roth.
Yeah.
So just TELE'S.
Yep.
Yep, just TELE'S, doing an article for him, and way before Mr. Big, too. So go the whole article with him in it. He was on a lot of guitar magazines, too. Good Lord.
Yeah.
I got about a dozen of them, all killer covers, which we have another one with you on it, too, from 2006 with you and Steve Vai. I have that.
Okay, yeah, I remember
So, yeah, we'll have to go through that one, too. Not here, though. But really good stuff in here. Got some Rudy Sarzo Peavey love. We talked about Peavey. That Wiggy we talked about before, man. People were chiming in because they remembered that amp.
It's a good one.
And they wanted to see, like, can you tell us more about it? They wanted to see, like, a demo of that, dude.
Well, I will make one, but I recently I did use it. I played on Conan O'Brien. I did a version of Your Mean One, Mr. Grinch.
You, Mr. Grinch, you're a bad banana with a greasy black peel.
And you see it in that, so you can hear it.
This is recently?
Well, that was way back.
Okay, I thought you said, like, okay, right. Okay, I have to look that up.
Yeah.
I'll put that up.
Yeah.
Wow. Would you ever bring that amp back through Peavey?
No. Okay. Yeah, I would do something else with it, or something similar, but yeah.
Okay. It is a great amp. Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool look, too. Got some of that. TC Electronic, of course, flanger.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, and got some more Hondos. Well, it's not more. This is the only Hondo I've seen, but Aria, and Hondo, we're doing a lot of that.
38 Special.
Yeah.
They were pretty popular at that point. That guy was always playing the Explorer style.
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah. Speaking of Explorer players, Claudio Sanchez of Coheed and Cambria, the lead singer, who always plays Explorers. He dropped a new line of guitars, his own line of guitars, at NAMM called Jackhammer by Evil Guitars. But he said literally, because I've wanted a signature model Gibson for so long, that I just decided I'm just going to make my own guitar line. I'm like, oh, damn. But they look really good. I'm not going to lie. They look really cool. Like I can see where the Explorer came from. They look pretty wild. All wood walnut. This is a great ad, too, for the Metal Master, the Heavy Metal, not the Metal Master. But that Boss ad, really cool stuff for that. I think there was one they had that was really just brash sounding. I forgot which one it was. Was it Death Metal?
Was it the Metal Zone or something?
Oh, yeah, the Metal Zone. Yeah. Oh, that one. That was, yeah, it depends. A lot of them. Carver. This guy always put his kid in the ad. I don't know why, but
Power amps.
I love it. And he got some more Mesa Boogie stuff. Here we go. Guild. Mick Mars, Nikki Sixx. That Guild I ran into with Star Inlays not knowing what it was. Because they played them for such a short time. This was before they really broke out. They're on the road with Ozzy at this point. Bark at the Moon. They're doing Speak of the Devil. Wait.
But how about this right here it's showing that
Shout the Devil.
Yeah. It's showing Motley Crue, but they couldn't even use a photo. They used like an animated version of them.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. They couldn't get an approved photo in time.
Then they photoshopped the guitars in their hands. They like drew them in. You see that the guitars are real. And then they put it, so that's probably why. They had to draw them. Yeah. Because they couldn't get a picture with them playing it.
Yeah.
And this was short-lived because he was out of there quickly. When they broke, he's like, all right, Kramer, come on.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah. Very cool guitars, though. Very hard to find, that Star. That was his model. More teaching, Trainer. I remember Trainer amps. My dad always told me he had a Trainer amp back in the day. I see a lot of those. Basic
Valley
guitars.
Arts guitar, those were popular in LA. Looks like this has a Kahler on it, which is, of course, not what most people would want. But
you guys see my performance guitar with a Kahler on it. It's from
Yeah.
'84.
yeah,
It's Lamborghini orange with an '85 style Kramer headstock. Banana. It's got a Kahler.
and a
It's pretty
Kahler.
sick. Yep. Stamped and everything in the body and pocket. So when do you want to buy it?
Probably not anytime soon. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to work on you with that one. Okay, so look at this ad. This Ernie Ball. This thing literally looks just like it came out today.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones definitely look dated. This still kind of goes. I noticed that about their
Yeah.
ads. They look very, modern-esque.
Pretty much the same.
Timeless.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much the same. This was a Super Chops issue, by the way.
Kahler.
Kahler. There we go. Look, Kahler love in there. Concert series.
Yeah, of course. He used to be in my dad's band as well.
Look at
Adrian
that.
Ballou.
Wow. That's a pretty cool guitar he's got, too.
Yeah, it's cool.
A lot of gadgets on that thing, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool graphic. I've never even seen that guitar before. See, back issues, always good to know. Luckily for me, I have all of them. So I don't have to worry about my
you
guitar
can
player.
just bask in the glory
Oh,
of
yeah.
your
I sniff
collection.
all the vintage pages every day
Yeah.
before I go to sleep.
Hey everybody, quick reminder, if you want to show your support for the channel, and we'd love it if you would, then make sure to check out our awesome, truly sensational merchandise available at mastersofshred.com. You can choose from this awesome limited edition Crate 1990 shirt or a bunch of cool others that you won't see anywhere else. Check them out. Now back to the show.
Your Winning Hand Super Effects. You ever had any of these?
Well, they do have a couple that were kind of good. I think they're very similar. There was something else. There was was it Pearl or something? There was an effects company called Pearl. I think it was also a Japanese thing, but there's Korg Flanger, and around this same time, they were all kind of making the same stuff. And the Korg Flanger that I have in my rack actually is really cool because it does crazy amounts of feedback. Like it'll just self-oscillate.
Wow.
So I think some of these used to do stuff like that.
Wow. Okay, so I looked them up. They're not too overpriced really at all. Gotta have Hot Licks. Always love the Hot Licks tapes. They were killer. Some good ones there. And look, get ready. Next month we're gonna have some Rat in there.
Yeah, Warren DeMartini.
I'll take that. Yeah. Fiery Player. Come on, guys. This is Morley's first sale in 15 years.
Wow.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Fabulous discounts never offered in our history.
Very nice.
I kind of want to know what they were charging that. And that, I think, has become hard to find. I believe, I have to ask them. But I remember they bring this up to me a lot at Morley, the deluxe distortion we used to make. Because it was an oddity. I think in one of these old wahs they had, you had to like oil up.
Yeah.
Like a canister. It's pretty crazy.
See, this is similar to the cabinet that I used to have, but this is a bass one, you know.
So you had 2x12.
Yep.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Your Wiggy's a pretty good cabinet. The oversized 2x12?
Yeah.
I was dead wrong on that last video we did. I'm like, yeah, it's got 4 speakers in it. Shows you how much I play it.
Yeah.
That's my own fault. I should have looked into that.
Yeah.
But no, this sounds great.
Yeah,
I'm running
they're
my
good.
Kemper through it. I'm like, this is pretty good. I dig it.
Yeah.
Got some more issues here. Okay. I'm going to go a little even faster because we got to talk about a little bit about what you're up to right now and what's cooking for 2025. So we're going to browse through these for you guys. Crate. Gotta love Crate. Check out our Crate shirts, limited edition. We actually created this design because we love all different ads, put them all together. It's a Crate 1990, super retro. Long live Crate. Good Lord, I can't believe they're not with us today. 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
And 2000s. They had some cool little mini amps.
Time
Ross,
machines.
they were almost back. Was it TC that tried to bring them back, TC Electronics?
Wasn't it
I'm wrong on that. It's the other guy, right? What's his
JHS?
Yes,
or something?
JHS.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
See, I was always wrong. JHS, he brought it back, and then they didn't sell as many as they would have liked, I believe, the second year. So last year, they blew all out the Ross reissues for $79 a pop. They sold out in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I went on at midnight, all gone. Like, literally.
Yeah.
So that was a great, everybody scored on that. You scored big. That was a pretty good release,
Yeah,
but
they made some cool stuff.
yeah. You know, Spectra D. Markley. Okay. Oh, got those stretchy straps. Love those. Buckethead.
Yeah.
Got your West Tones. Okay. So they had some good ones.
Almost an SG and a Strat.
Yes. It's definitely a little funky. Not sure I'm digging this setup here either,
Yeah.
or that.
Yeah.
That cover is not, no. No, it's a no for me. Bring down the house. Masters of Heavy Metal. It's a special. You could go send your money in. You would get that.
Randy Rhoads.
Arlen
Edward
Roth.
Van Halen.
That was part of
Yeah.
Crossroads, right?
Yeah.
Was playing a lot of that. I heard he wasn't happy about all the praise Steve got because it kind of overshadowed what he contributed to it. It's hard to beat Jack Butler.
Yes.
At least Walk Away With Your Soul. He did all those songs for all the
Tommy
TV
Tedesco,
shows.
Yeah, he was friends with my dad. He used to come over the house.
Wow. And all of this stuff, this column, because he tells you what he earned playing which
Doing
part
the
for which
sessions.
movie.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's kind of weird in today's terms because, like, if you go on YouTube, people are very tight-knit about what they make.
Yeah, but this was
They were
for
telling
professional
you.
musicians.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will tell you. Like, it's become this myth or, this weird thing where you just can't figure out. I don't have to tell you. But anyway, Manny's, all that good stuff. We'll go into it. Got some Carvin stuff.
Yep.
Gotta love it. Rockinger.
Starship. Yep.
Performance. Talking about performance guitars, folks.
Yep.
Okay, don't forget about that. And Audio Centron. This is very cool. Very cool.
Lock.
That is a Schecter trem that you can't find anymore. And it's like kind of 𝙃𝘼𝙀𝙎 of the Vega. But it's got, and it locks and floats, but they're worth 200 plus if you ever find one. You know what band he went on to go be inside? In the Mike Varney spotlight?
No.
Badlands with Jay Healy.
Okay.
So he submitted his stuff here. Hey guys, and this guy was playing for Billy Squier. Why did he send his information in? Because he wanted to get a recording deal. So he talks about that too.
Yeah, I remember those spotlight things. It was always kind of cool to see who was coming up through those.
Right? Yeah, a lot of guys came through there, man. A lot of big hitters, that's for sure. And then kind of the little DOD digital delay.
Yeah.
Going to walk into some Yamaha stuff, and we are at the edge of our seats here, folks. And that is the issue right there. That's the July 1984 issue of Guitar Player magazine with the mighty Dweezil Zappa. Now, Dweezil, what's going on in 2025? What can we look forward to? Where can everybody follow you out?
Well, I'm doing the last show of this tour happens tonight. It's the 𝙃𝘼𝙂𝙀 2025 tour. We have 2 legs of it this year. This is the first leg, finishes up here in Nashville, and then I start again in early April. We're going to do East Coast stuff and go to East Coast Canada, like Quebec and Toronto and stuff like that. But other than that, I'm going to spend the rest of the year doing some music projects at my studio, and maybe I'll get a chance to work on or possibly finish the What the Hell Was I Thinking record, which has all the different guitar players, including Edward Van Halen played on it.
Nice.
Different stuff. And I've been doing a lot to build up my YouTube channel, which has all kinds of different things. We've been doing lessons, we've been doing stuff from the tour, documentary style stuff, but we're just experimenting with what kind of content. I'll probably start doing some interviews and other things on there.
Well, I was telling everybody, you got to check out Dweezil's YouTube channel because his content is cinematic. It's not YouTube content. It's like a movie. It's done so well.
Well, we do what we can.
Which is a lot. You guys can do a lot. So subscribe to Dweezil's YouTube as well. We'll put that link down below. Subscribe to our channel. Check out who sponsored this episode, Tone Arts USA out of Nashville, Tennessee. The Super Halen amp, limited to just 50, based on a 1990 authentic, unauthorized comic book that is meticulously hand-placed on the amp, hand-built. Incredible 1x12. You guys will blow your minds when you hear it. Limited to just 50. You can find them on mastersofshred.com. Thank you guys for watching this. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Shred the notification bell. Follow us on Masters of Shred on Instagram, Mr. Shred Official, and where do they follow you on Instagram?
Well, just Dweezil Zappa.
Should be one. If there's any other one, it's probably a fake account, right?
Most likely.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Pages in Time, and we'll see you next time.